So Scrooge ventured into the large toy shop, and he saw dolls and kites and tin soldiers and drummer boys and a rocking horse and a carousel, puppets and trapezes and clowns, and there were dolls' houses for girls and toboggans for the boys, jigsaws and jumping jacks. The ghost of Christmas present raised his arms to heaven in a majestic gesture to reveal a huge, glorious, sumptuously decorated Christmas tree, festooned with 1,000 multicoloured candles, and a myriad of life-size toys. Teddy bears, a ballerina, a row of toy soldiers, a box of Christmas crackers, a toy policeman, a wind-up monkey, and a beautiful Christmas fairy atop the tree. And then, as if by magic, the spirit turned the whole shop into an animated playground where everything came to life, just like in a dream, which, as we all know, is often more real than the real thing.
You're in for a few surprises.
Where are we going?
Life is life, that's the thing. Make some man want to suddenly sing. Sing and dance, and perchance see it like the living sun. When you land, any man can fly.
And there we leave tonight's performance of Scrooge for the time being. The show continues here on Radio 2 in 15 minutes. In the meantime, you're welcome to join me, Sean Street, and Nicholas Bolton as we spend a bit of time reflecting on just how much Charles Dickens has influenced the way we, the British, look at Christmas, which is now, as if you hadn't noticed, nearly upon us. Scrooge, the musical, is after all based on A Christmas Carol, probably Dickens' most famous story, and certainly his best known about Christmas. But he wrote often about the season. It occurs time and again in his writing as a subject in which he took much joy. In a way, he represents a shaping of tradition that was going on throughout the 19th century, focused largely on the Victorian dynasty. Charles Dickens was born in 1812, Queen Victoria 5 years later. And when Dickens died in 1870, the Queen still had over 30 years to reign. And many of the things we think of as traditional come from the Victorian time. It was around 1840 that the Christmas tree, a German invention, became popular in Britain, after the public had seen glimpses in the illustrated papers of Victoria and Albert with one glowing with candles. And the Christmas card, well, a British idea that at least, came into prominence in 1843. And until 1871, when a group of academics published a collection, Christmas carols belonged largely to an oral tradition. So we can see that Dickens and his time took much from medieval Britain and shaped it into the Christmas that we think of with such nostalgia today. But let's turn the pages and see what we can find. Because whatever the historical facts, Charles Dickens and Christmas go together like turkeys and cranberry sauce.
I have been looking on this evening at a merry company of children assembled round that pretty German toy, a Christmas tree. It was brilliantly lighted by a multitude of little tapers, and everywhere sparkled and glittered with bright objects. There were rosy-cheeked dolls hiding behind the green leaves. There were jolly, broad-faced little men, much more agreeable in appearance than many real men. And no wonder, for their heads took off and showed them to be full of sugar plums. There were fiddles and drums. There were tambourines, Books, work boxes, paint boxes, sweetmeat boxes, peep show boxes, and all kinds of boxes. There were teetotums, humming tops, needle cases, pen wipers, smelling bottles, conversation cards, bouquet holders, real fruit made artificially dazzling with gold leaf, imitation apples, pears, and walnuts crammed with surprises. In short, as a pretty child before me delightedly whispered to another pretty child, her bosom friend, there was everything, and more.
Dickens conveys such a true picture of a child's view of Christmas because, quite simply, he has a good memory.
I look into my youngest Christmas recollections. All the toys at first, I find. Up yonder among the green holly and red berries is the tumbler, with his hands in his pockets, who wouldn't lie down, but whenever he was put upon the floor persisted in rolling his fat body about, until he rolled himself still, and brought those lobster eyes of his to bear upon me, when I affected to laugh very much, but in my heart of hearts was extremely doubtful of him. Close beside him is that infernal snuff-box, out of which there sprang a demoniacal counsellor in a black gown, with an obnoxious head of hair and a red cloth mouth, wide open, who was not to be endured on any terms, but could not be put away either, for he used suddenly, in a highly magnified state, to fly out of mammoth snuff-boxes in dreams when least expected.
For many years, Charles Dickens wrote Christmas stories for magazines like Household Words and All the Year Round. Dickens knew what Christmas was all about, which is why, to so many of us, the spirit of the season is a Dickensian thing. Christmas, Dickens would tell you, is about children and wassail and good food. But it's also about caring for one another. It's about remembering that some are worse off than others. It's about cold weather and hopefully a warm fire to relieve the cold. Above all, it's about families and home.
And I do come home at Christmas. We all do. Or we all should. We all come home, or ought to come home, for a short holiday, the longer the better, from the great boarding school where we are forever working at our arithmetical slates, to take and give a rest.
But that rest can be a strenuous thing. Who could talk about Dickens and Christmas without at sometimes summoning to mind the image of Mr. Pickwick enjoying a full-blooded Christmas party?
It was a pleasant thing to see Mr. Pickwick in the centre of the group, now pulled this way and then that, and first kissed on the chin, and then on the nose, and then on the spectacles, and to hear the peals of laughter which were raised on every side. But it was a still more pleasant thing to see Mr. Pickwick blinded shortly afterwards with a silk handkerchief, falling up against the wall and scrambling into corners and going through all the mysteries of blind man's buff with the utmost relish for the game, until at last he caught one of the poor relations, and then had to evade the blind man himself, which he did with a nimbleness and agility that elicited the admiration and applause of all beholders. The poor relations caught the people who they thought would like it, and when the game flagged, got caught themselves. When they were all tired of blind man's buff, there was a great game of snap-dragon, and when fingers enough were burned with that, and all the raisins were gone, they sat down by the huge fire of blazing logs to a substantial supper and a mighty bowl of wassail, something smaller than an ordinary wash-house copper, in which the hot apples were hissing and bubbling with a rich look and a jolly sound that were perfectly irresistible. This, said Mr. Pickwick, looking round him, this is, indeed, comfort.
Comfort indeed, but Charles Dickens understood as well as anybody that there were vast areas of society who could not enjoy such comfort. It's what lies behind Scrooge's story, after all, isn't it? And he could write movingly about the natural images of Christmas, too. There's one of his Christmas stories, written for the magazines, called The Seven Poor Travellers, in which the landscape around Victorian London, the story was written in 1854, evokes in the traveller's mind the Christian meaning of Christmas.
Going through the woods, the softness of my tread upon the mossy ground and among the brown leaves enhanced the Christmas sacredness by which I felt surrounded. As the whitened stems environed me, I thought how the founder of the time had never raised his benignant hand save to bless and heal, except in the case of one unconscious tree. By Cobham Hall I came to the village, and the churchyard where the dead had been quietly buried, in the sure and certain hope which Christmas time inspired. What children could I see at play and not be loving of, recalling who had loved them? No garden that I passed was out of unison with the day, for I remembered that the tomb was in a garden, and that she, supposing him to be the gardener, had said, "Sir, If thou have borne him hence, tell me where thou hast laid him, and I will take him away. In time, the distant river with the ships came full in view, and with it, pictures of the poor fishermen mending their nets who arose and followed him. My very shadow on the ground was eloquent of Christmas, for did not the people lay their sick where the mere shadows of the men who had heard and seen him might fall as they passed along? Thus Christmas begirt me, far and near, until I had come to Blackheath, and had walked down the long vista of gnarled old trees in Greenwich Park, and was being steam-rattled through the mists, now closing in once more, towards the lights of London. Brightly they shone, but not so brightly as my own fire, and the brighter faces around it, when we came together to celebrate the day.
And to celebrate the day, under the Christmas tree, in the family circle, not silent blank faces staring at a television screen, but with the smell of roasting chestnuts in our nostrils, the telling of Christmas winter stories in our ears, ghost stories in the spirit of our tale of Scrooge, or more shame for us, round the Christmas fire, all of us never stirring, except perhaps to draw a little nearer to it.
Legion is the name of the German castles, where we sit up alone to wait for the spectre, where we are shown into a room made comparatively cheerful for our reception, where we glance round at the shadows thrown on the blank walls by the crackling fire, where we feel very lonely when the village innkeeper and his pretty daughter have retired after laying down a fresh store of wood upon the hearth, and setting forth on the small table such supper cheer as a cold roast capon, bread, grapes, and a flask of old Rhine wine, where the reverberating doors close on their retreat, one after another, like so many peals of silent thunder, and where, about the small hours of the night, we come into the knowledge of diverse supernatural mysteries. Legion is the name of the haunted German students, in whose society we draw yet nearer to the fire, while the schoolboy in the corner opens his eyes wide and round, and flies off the footstool he has chosen for his seat when the door accidentally blows open.
And the ghosts are so much more fun because we tell stories of them in such a warm and happy and snug place as round the Christmas hearth. Not all the Christmas storytelling goes on at home, of course. There's the pantomime season to look forward to, and in the Victorian age it was in its heyday. On the 28th of December, 1860, Dickens wrote a letter to Miss Mary Boyle, in which he tells of a mishap, well, more a disaster really, with some scenery during a pantomime at Covent Garden. There's something in all of us that finds accidents like this hilariously funny, and Dickens was no exception.
On Boxing Night, I was at Covent Garden. A dull pantomime was worked, as we say, better than ever I saw a heavy piece worked on a first night, until suddenly, and without a moment's warning, every scene on that immense stage fell over on its face, and disclosed chaos by gaslight behind. There never was such a business. About 60 people who were on the stage being extinguished in the most remarkable manner. Not a soul was heard. In the uproar, some moon calf rescued a porter pot, 6 feet high, one of which the clown had been drinking when the accident happened, and stood it on the cushion of the lowest proscenium box, prompt side, beside a lady and a gentleman, who were dreadfully ashamed of it. The moment the house knew that nobody was injured, they directed their whole attention to this gigantic porter-pot in its genteel position, the lady and gentleman trying to hide behind it, and roared with laughter. When a modest footman came from behind the curtain to clear it and took it up in his arms like a baby, we all laughed more than we ever had laughed in our lives. I don't know why.
To all artists about to embark on the panto season, may your lines and cleats be strong. I mentioned Christmas cards earlier, and I wonder if you're up to date with the writing and stamping and posting. The cards are in many ways the nicest, most natural of all Christmas decorations, because they come from the kind thoughts of our friends. So, very soon, they'll grace our mantelpieces and tables again. Images of robins and hearthsides glowing with colour, stagecoaches, and of course depictions of the Christmas story itself. There's bound to be snow and holly there too, isn't there? Well, I suppose that for many of us, a crisp, cold Christmas is part of the very idea of it all, as long as we can escape it when we choose to. Here's a Christmas card from Dickens, a Christmas card in words from his 1851 story, What Christmas Is as We Grow Older.
The winter sun goes down over town and village. On the sea it makes a rosy path, as if the sacred tread were fresh over the water. A few more moments and it sinks, and night comes on, and lights begin to sparkle in the prospect. On the hillside beyond the shapelessly diffused town, and in the quiet keeping of the trees that gird the village steeple, remembrances are cut in stone, planted in common flowers, growing in grass entwined with lowly brambles, around many a mound of earth. In town and village there are doors and windows closed against the weather. There are flaming logs heated high. There are joyful faces. There is healthy music of voices.
Yes, that's it, isn't it? The Dickensian Christmas in a nutshell. And there'll be plenty of those around, too. Nutshells, that is. A time of frost and snow, but also of warmth and love, and thoughts of absent friends, too. The art of keeping the magic of Christmas alive is to watch and learn from children. With all the preparations that adults have to make, and with all the commercialization, it's not surprising if sometimes, just sometimes, some of us get a little jaded. Look back, says Dickens, and remember.
Time was, with most of us, when Christmas Day, encircling all our limited world like a magic ring, left nothing out for us to miss or seek. Bound together all our home enjoyments, affections and hopes, grouped everything and everyone around the Christmas fire, and made the little picture shining in our bright young eyes complete.
Well, that's almost all from me, Sean Street and Nicholas Bolton, but I hope that when it comes, your Christmas will be complete too. In a few minutes, we'll be returning to our performance of Scrooge, the musical, starring Anthony Newley. But just before we go, we'll leave you with the words of the song that Mr. Wardle sings at the Pickwick Club's Christmas party. Of course, every season has its charms, spring, summer and harvest time.
But my song I troll out for Christmas stout, the hearty, the true and the bold. A bumper I drain, and with might and main give 3 cheers for this Christmas old. We'll usher him in with a merry din that shall gladden his joyous heart, and we'll keep him up while there's bite or sup, and in fellowship good we'll part.
On this special Christmas Eve, the great River Thames reflected all the twinkling lights of London, while above St. Paul's and the towers and domes, the moon shone onto the mantle of snow, and there below was a truly real Christmas tree, bearing glittering baubles and bunting. And there, in the throng, the Cratchit family stood with their eyes ablaze with joy.
Well, if it was, what would you do for Christmas?
We'd have to think of something else. Not this year, you don't. We're going carol singing. And anyway, I like Christmas just the way it is. Come on, Tim.
You have to learn to take the good with the bad, Tiny Tim. Don't be late back.
Goodbye! Goodbye!
Oh, come on.
And just like birds of a feather, Scrooge and the goodly spirit of Christmas fly out of the starry sky and land in Cheapside.
You haven't quite mastered that landing yet, have you?
What happened? And why am I standing in the middle of the street in my nightclothes?
Yeah, we're going visiting, come.
Oh? Who lives in this miserable-looking hovel?
Behold the luxurious abode of Robert Cratchit, Esquire.
Cratchit? Oh. Quite a nice little place for an office clerk, don't you think? Can I look in the window?
Well, it won't cost you a penny. That'll be good news for you.
They won't be able to see me, will they?
No, that'll be very good news for them.
I could do with another of those.
Later. For the time being, it is better you see things as they really are. Touch my robe.
Scrooge passes through the door into the Cratchit's kitchen, and he sees the family waiting at table, while Mrs. Cratchit prods a very small plum pudding boiling in the copper pot.
Some days are up days, some days are down days, some days are golden, some dark brown days.
I never mind when we have blue days. They're always followed by we've come through days.
We've had good times before, and we'll have good times again.
Of course we will.
Whatever we've done, we've made life fun. And when things were bad, and bad times we've had, we've fought and we've won for all for one. So when things ain't going right, we try with all of our might. You'll see us unite like fighting men. We know we'll come through, and friends when we do, we'll only know good times again. Oh, the marriage of roast goose and sage and onion stuffing a la Cratchit is one of the culinary miracles of our day. A living legend throughout the length and breadth of Camden Town. The only remaining problem, my dears, is whether to put the stuffing inside the goose or the goose inside the stuffing. But since the ultimate intention is to put both inside ourselves, I don't suppose it much matters.
Give it here.
We've had good times before, and we'll have good times again. Whatever we've done, we've made life fun. And when things were bad, and bad times we've had, we fought and we won for all for one. So when things ain't going right, we'll try with all of our might. You'll see us unite like fighting men. And here they are, the one and only carol-singing Cratchits, newly returned from their triumphant musical tour of Regent's Park and the Euston Road. We know we'll come through, and friends when we do, we'll only know good times, goodbye to the next one. We'll only know good times again. We know we'll come through, and Tim, when we do, we'll only know good times, goodbye to the bad times. We'll only know good times again.
How did you go, Tiny Tim? 10pence halfpenny. Oh, well done. And you too, Catharine.
Another fantastic coup by young Timothy Cratchit, the financial wizard. At only 7 years of age, the youngest millionaire in the vast Cratchit empire. Let's put the pennies in the jar, eh? Yeah. Come on, Sam. Oh.
And how did little Tim behave, Cathy? As good as gold. And better. He told me coming home that he hoped people saw him singing outside the church. Because he was a cripple. And it might be pleasant to them to remember on Christmas Day. Who made lame beggars walk. And blind men see. Well, he gets a bit thoughtful. Spending so much time by himself.
There you go, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I may steal a moment of your valuable time. I would like you to drink to the sparkling good health of the two gentlemen whose industry and generosity have made possible our sumptuous Christmas repast. Master Timothy Cratchit and Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge.
Robert? What are you trying to do? Spoil our Christmas?
His money paid for the goose, my dear.
No, your money paid for the goose, my dear.
But he paid me the money.
Because you earned it, me love. Oh, believe me, 15 shillings a week at 3p an hour and not a penny raised in 8 years. You earned it.
Mr. Scrooge assures me times are hard.
Well, he's right. For you they are, but not for himself.
Nonetheless, he is the founder of our feast, and we shall drink to him.
Quite right.
Founder of our feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and he'd have indigestion for a month.
But Ethel, my dear, the children, Christmas.
Well, it needs to be Christmas, Bob. For me to drink to a rotten-hearted, stingy old miser like Scrooge.
But Ethel, you can't...
You know he is, Bob. Nobody knows it better than you. Me love.
To Christmas, my dear.
Children, we shall drink to your father for all the love and happiness that he gives us, and to Tiny Tim for the good health that we all wish him. And for the sake of your father, I'll even drink to that old miser, Mr. Scrooge. Long life to him, and to us all.
A Merry Christmas to us all.
Merry Christmas!
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
What an unpleasant child. And there's nothing more nauseating than a happy family enjoying themselves at Christmas. Well, don't you agree, Scrooge?
I think Bob Cratchit's rather fond of me.
Oh, so's his wife. Did you notice?
She doesn't really know me.
That's one of the few things when fate has been kind to her.
As I said to the Lord Mayor, if Her Most Gracious Majesty's feeling bored, I said, will you just wheel her over to Camden Town, I said. We'll have her back on her regal feet in no time, I said, with a glass of Bob Cratchit's hot punch.
Oh, yes.
And a song from young Tiny Tim.
After a moment of hesitation, Tiny Tim is lifted onto the table by his proud father.
On a beautiful day that I dream about, in a world I would love to see, is a beautiful place where the sun comes out and it shines in the sky for me. On this beautiful winter's morning, if my wish would come true somehow, then a beautiful day that I dream about would be here and now. A beautiful day that I dream about.
What'll become of him, Tiny Tim?
What's this? Concern over a sick child? Have you taken leave of your senses, Scrooge?
Don't mock me, Spirit. Is the child sick? Not that it's of any concern to me whether he is or not, but is he?
Well, of course he's sick.
You mean he's seriously ill? Will he live? Well, will he?
Well, what does it matter to you? If he's going to die, let him die and decrease the
surplus population.
Then the beautiful day that I dream about would be here and now.
I should like to go home now.
We have one more call to make. Touch my robe again.
In his nephew's sitting room, there's firelight and candle glow, happy, smiling children and grown-ups are at the dizzy height of a Christmas party playing blind man's buff.
I think Pop can see with that blindfold. He keeps chasing Mary.
Well, you can't blame him, can you?
Harry, you're outrageous.
Why, Mary, it's you.
Right. Grown-up. All stay here. Harry, you top up everyone's drink.
Right.
Mary and Topper, you choose the next game. Now come along, children. Follow me. Hot mince pies and milk in the playroom.
Oh, hooray! Come on, Scrooge. Don't be afraid. I'm guest of honour, remember? Christmas!
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please honour me with your undivided attention? That famous moment has arrived that I know you all look forward to in this house every Christmas Eve, when I ask you to drink to the good health and long life of my celebrated uncle, Ebenezer Scrooge.
Did you hear that? I may have misjudged the boy after all.
Harry, I visited you every Christmas for the past 5 years, and to this day I cannot understand this extraordinary ritual of drinking to the health of your Uncle Ebenezer. Everyone knows he's the most miserable old skinflint that ever walked God's earth.
Who's he?
Oh, just a friend.
My dear Topper, it's very simple. He is indeed the most despicable old miser. Worse than you could ever possibly imagine.
You're enjoying this, aren't you?
Believe it or not, he likes you.
But I look at it this way. If I can wish a Merry Christmas to him, who is beyond dispute the most obnoxious and parsimonious of all living creatures, and I know in my heart I'm truly a man of goodwill.
You're a rascal.
Now that I'll drink to.
I don't like you at all.
Wait, there's more.
And besides, I like old Scrooge.
What did I tell you?
No, I truly do. And God knows I've little enough reason to do so after the way he treated our family. But I can't help feeling that hidden somewhere inside that loathsome old carcass of his is a different man fighting to get out.
Careful, Harry. He could be even worse than the one you already know.
God forbid, Topper. Anyway, that's the reason I invite him to come here every Christmas, in the forlorn hope that one day he might just drop by and pick up enough goodwill to raise his clerk's wages by 5 shillings a week. Absolutely. And God knows it's high time he did.
Here, here.
You're very free with other people's money, aren't you?
All right, Harry, now that's enough. I refuse to have my Christmas haunted by your silly old Uncle Ebenezer.
If you only knew, my dear
Scrooge.
All right, what shall we play?
Murder! Postman's not.
I know. We'll all sing The Minister's Cat.
As for you, nephew, if you were in my will, which or not, I would disinherit you. Raise my clerk's wages. Humbug to you, sir, humbug!
Oh, come on, Scrooge. You need some more of this.
I remember this tune. We used to sing it at Old Fezziwig.
Now I'll be done. Now remember, 1 line each. Now let's see if we can get through the whole alphabet without making a mistake. Ready, steady, go. A.
The Minister's Cat.
The Minister's Cat.
Boring cat.
The Minister's Cat.
Charming cat. The Minister's Cat. The Darling Cat. The Minister's Cat. The Evil Cat. The Minister's Cat. Rightful Cat.
Ask me one.
The Minister's Cat is a grumpy cat. The Minister's Cat is a hungry cat. The Minister's Cat is an idiot cat.
Ask me one.
The Minister's Cat is a cat. The Minister's Cat is a kindly cat. The Minister's Cat is a lonely cat. The Minister's Cat is a...
I do.
M.
Say Mary.
You've got 3 seconds.
Say Mary. Say Mary. Say
Keep it going, N.
minister's cat is a naughty.
I told you to say merry. What's the matter with you? Why are you so stupid? He's always been stupid. You could have said merry or monstrous or moronic. That's what you are, moronic.
I got it. Moronic. The minister's cat is a silky cat. The minister's cat is a shiny cat. The minister's cat is a silky cat. The minister's cat is a vicious. The minister's cat is a wild. The minister's cat is an extraordinary cat.
And tell me what you make of that.
So tell me what we make of that. The minister truly has an absolute.
That was wonderful. Absolutely marvelous. My word. That is such a fun game. I can't believe how stupid you are.
Harry, it's late. Lovely evening. We must be going.
Well, it's Christmas in the morning.
Oh, going so soon. What a pity. But it was a wonderful evening, wasn't it? I liked that minister's cat thing. I thought I was rather good at it, too. Good night! Good night! Thank you so much for coming. I can honestly say I haven't enjoyed a Christmas so much since I was a young apprentice at old Fezziwig's all those years ago. What wonderful Christmases we used to have. They were enchanting. He had this daughter.
Good night, my dear. Merry Christmas. Soper! I shall try to get Uncle Ebenezer here for you next year.
Don't bother.
I don't like you at all.
Good night, Mary. Good night, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Fezziwig's daughter, Isabel. Happiness was standing beside me. I could see her. She could see me. Happiness can be something you're too blind to see. Isabel.
Scrooge,
Isabel.
my time grows short. I must leave you now.
Oh, but we've still got so much to talk about, haven't we?
There's never enough time to do and say all the things you wish. The thing is, do as much as you can with the time you have.
Let's have one more
Remember,
drink.
Scrooge,
Just one.
time is short. And suddenly you're not there anymore.
Oh, no, don't go. Don't leave me. Where are you? Why is it so dark? I can't see. Do my eyes deceive me? Can my reason lie? Am I living here and now, or in some life gone by? Is the world I'm seeing the world I saw before? Could there be another life that might have taught me more? Am I merely dreaming, or am I awake? Is my mind just playing games, or showing me a pathway I should take? Should I just ignore it? Should I break the spell? Should I take another look? Open up a brand new book. Try to find a better life, a bigger, better, brighter life. And could I somehow learn to live it well? Only time will tell. Can I find a better life and learn to live it well? I can't see. Dare I just ignore it? Dare I break the spell? Dare I take another look? Open up a brand new book. Try to find a better life, a bigger, better, brighter life. And could I somehow learn to live it well? Only time will tell. There's still time to get a life, to find myself a better life, and learn to
o'clock. The third at 3. The third at 3.
Scrooge looked about him for the ghost, and saw it not. As the last stroke ceased to vibrate, he remembered the prediction of old Jacob Marley, and lifting up his eyes, beheld a solemn phantom, draped and hooded, coming like a mist along the ground towards him. It moved slowly, gravely, silently. When it came near him, Scrooge bent down upon his knee, for in the very air through which the spirit moved, it seemed to scatter gloom and mystery. It was shrouded in a deep black garment, which concealed its head, its face, its form, and left nothing of it visible save one outstretched hand. He felt that it was tall and stately when it came beside him. Then its mysterious presence filled him with a solemn dread. He knew no more, for the spirit neither spoke nor moved.
Are you the ghost of Christmas yet to come? And are you to show me shadows of the things that will happen in the life before us? Is that so, Spirit? Oh, ghost of the future, I fear you more than any other phantom I have seen. But as I know your purpose is to do me good, and as I long to be a man other than what I was, I am prepared to bear you company. Will you speak to me? The night is waning fast, and I know this time is precious to me. Lead on, Spirit. Lead on.
Once again, he was marvellously transported to the street outside his office to find a crowd of gleeful people, but he was not to know his own coffin was the object of their celebration.
There it is, my friends. Shining as bright as the happy thoughts the mere mention of the name Scrooge brings to our minds. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today because we are united by a common bond. Namely, our feelings of gratitude to Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge.
Is this the future?
I don't think any one of us could ever hope to find the words to describe the true depth of our feelings towards it.
That's Tom Jenkins, the hot soup man. He owes me £6. He looks uncommonly happy for a man so deep in debt.
I completely understand how emotional you'll feel about this most important celebration.
All these people owe me money, and they love me, and I didn't know it.
But may I kindly ask you to hold your emotions in check? We are all deeply moved. And those of us what have been in debt to Mr. S over the years, will never forget the rare and the beautiful thing he's just done for all of us. Right!
What did I do? What did I do? Whatever it is, it has made them very happy, and I am the cause. My friends, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will remember this moment till the day I die. And may I say, in all humility, that I have laboured all my life to be worthy of this moving demonstration of your feelings towards me.
Thank you. On behalf of all the people who have assembled here, I would merely like to mention, if I may, that our unanimous attitude is one of lasting gratitude. All right. For what a friend has done for us today. And therefore I would simply like to say... Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me. I make a double dutch, but my delight is such. I feel as if the losing was been won for me. And if I had a flag, I'd hang the flag out to add a sort of final victory touch. But since I left me flag, and I must simply have to say thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me. It sounds a bit bizarre, but things the way they are. I feel as if another life's begun for me. And if I had a can another party to have a sort of celebration song, but since I left the can, I simply have to say thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very, very, very much.
For I'm a jolly good fellow. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone has done for me. The future looks so bright. It's got to look so right. I feel as if the party's in the time for me. And if I had a drum, I'd have to bang it. To have a full of rusty countryside.
The crowd moves off in high spirits, pulling the carts, cheering and dancing. Suddenly, to Scrooge's horror, the coffin slides off and falls to the ground. No one else notices, and the celebrating procession moves merrily on its way. Scrooge, speechless with terror, looks from the coffin to his counting house, to the phantom.
Thank you very much. Spirit! I will not forget this
lesson. I won't forget this lesson. Can I go now? Trust me, I'll go now. Thank you.
But the phantom points once again, for Scrooge's journey is not yet complete, and they make towards the next destination.
Bob Cratchit's house again? Why have you brought me back here?
The colour hurts me eyes. I mustn't show weak eyes to your father when he gets home. It must be near his time.
Past it. But I think he's walked a little slow these last few evenings.
I've known him walk very fast indeed, with Tiny Tim on his shoulder.
So have I. Often.
But he was light to carry. And his father loved him so. It was no trouble. No trouble.
Tiny Tim's chair. No Tiny Tim. Where is he?
The phantom leads Scrooge to a simple graveyard, a bleak aspect of cold grey and black stone. Bob Cratchit is kneeling in front of a simple wooden cross, which is inscribed Timothy Cratchit, aged 7 years.
On a beautiful day that I dream about, in a world I would love to see.
I must go now, my little fella. I promised your mother I'd help with the Christmas dinner. I'll come back and see you again tomorrow. Same time, all right? On this beautiful winter's morning, my wish could come true. Somehow, in the beautiful day that I dream about. Oh, dear.
Spirit, you show me a Christmas yet to come that mingles great happiness and great sadness. Tell me, are these shadows of things that will be? Or are they the shadows of things that may be only?
There amongst the graves, the spirit points down to one. Scrooge advances towards it, trembling, and reads upon the stone of the neglected grave, Ebenezer Scrooge. His face fills with terror, and he turns back in horror to the phantom who points from Scrooge to the grave, and then moves slowly towards him. Scrooge reels away from the phantom, and as he does so, the gravestone yawns open to reveal the very door to hell.
Spirit, if you are indeed here to show me the error of my past ways, then say so. So that I may, by my good deeds, sponge away the writing on that dreaded stone.
Ebenezer Scrooge, we've been expecting you. You're early. Not that it matters in eternity. Welcome. I heard you were coming down today, so I thought I'd come and greet you and show you to your quarters. Nobody else wanted to.
That's very civil of you, Marley. I am dead. Am I not?
And a coffin nail.
I was rather hoping I'd end up there.
Go away, yes. That's what they all say. You may find your office rather cramped, but not, I trust, unfamiliar.
Office?
Your activities in life were so pleasing to Lucifer that he has appointed you to be his personal clerk. A singular honour. You will, so to speak, be to him what Cratchit was to you.
That's not fair.
That's not fair. That's what diabolical. Yes, I know. I don't think I find it not altogether unamusing. Here we are, your office.
It's freezing cold in here.
Yes, Lucifer turned the heat off. He thought it might make you drowsy. You'll be the only man in hell who's chilly. Well, watch out for the rats. They nibble.
Rats?
I almost forgot. I knew there was something. They apologized that your chain wasn't ready for your arrival. But it was so big, they had to take on extra little devils at the foundry to finish it. Here it is now. My word, it's bigger than I thought it would be. Bear mine look like a watch chain.
I can't wear that. I won't be able to move. Jake, don't let them do this to me.
It is quite a chain, isn't it?
Help me, I pray you. I'm not the man I was. I swear to you, I will keep the spirit of Christmas in my heart. And every day of the year, only spare me that I may prove it to you.
A Merry Christmas, Ebenezer Scrooge!
I'm not in hell. I have no chain. I'm not dead. Perhaps it didn't happen. Perhaps it did. But I'm alive. I'm alive. And I have a chance to start again. And I will not be the man I was. I'll begin again. I will build my life. I'll live to know that I've fulfilled my life. I'll begin today. Throw away the past, and the future I build will be something that will last. I will take the time I have left to live, and I'll give it all that I have left to live. I will live my days for my fellow men, and I'll live in praise of that moment when I was able to begin again. I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather. I'm as happy as a schoolboy. I'm as giddy as a drunken man. A Merry Christmas, everybody! Oh, Jacob Marley, wherever you are, you shall see a change in me, I swear. I'll begin again. I will change my fate. I will show the world that it is not too late. I will never stop while I have the time till I stand at the top of that mountain. I must climb. I will start anew. I will make amends. And I'll make quite certain that the story ends on a note of hope, on a strong amen. And I'll thank the world and remember when I was able
Why, Christmas Day, of course.
Christmas Day? I haven't missed it. Do you know the butcher shop in the next street for one?
I should hope so.
I should hope so. What an intelligent boy. What a remarkable boy. Do you happen to know whether the prize turkey in the window has been sold yet? Not the big one the enormous one.
You mean the one as big as me?
What a delightful boy. So witty. It's a pleasure to do business with you. Yes, that's the one.
It's still there.
I want you to buy it for me.
What's that?
Here's 2 sovereigns. Go to the butcher's, tell him to open his shop. You be standing there in 5 minutes with that turkey in your arms, and I'll give you a shilling. I'll give you 2 shillings. I'll give you half a crown. Go on, run, run, run! What a lovely boy. I think I'm going to like children. Mr. Scrooge? Good morning, Pringle!
Good morning.
Mrs. Pringle. A Merry Christmas, Pringle.
Merry Christmas, Mr.
I want
Scrooge.
toys, lots of toys for all my young friends on this magic day.
Toys, Mr.
Yes,
Scrooge?
toys. Don't stand there, man. Make a list.
List, yes.
I'll have the dolly in the corner with the little dolls, and the pop-up and the turn and roundabout and the swings and the soldiers and the kites, and I'll have some boats. I'll take the whole lot. How much will that be?
How much, Mr. Scrooge?
Never mind. You take the lot. Here's some you take. I'll need the help of several children to carry the toys. Each will have half a crown.
Yes, Mr. Scrooge.
That's what I call a turkey. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim. Well done, dear boy. A Merry Christmas, dear Pringle.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
That is old Mr. Scrooge, isn't it?
Well, yes.
Oh, Mr. Scrooge.
Yes.
What has happened?
What has happened, my dear Biscuit? It's very simple. I've discovered that I like life. Life likes me. Life and I very fully agree. Life is fine. Life is good. Especially mine, which is just as it should be. I like pouring the wine. And why not? Life's a pleasure that I deny not. Mr. Hearty, Mr. Jollygood. A Merry Christmas to you, gentlemen.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Come to my office on Monday, and I'll give you 100 guineas for your most worthy cause. And the same every year.
But, Mr. Scrooge, why?
Why? For a jolly good reason. Mr. Jollygood. I'll stand down, tell you. Excuse me, Pringle, hold that.
Like night now, like I'm in so loud.
We'll both try to be better somehow.
Where there's music and laughter, happiness is right. Why? Because I like life. I just believe
Christmas, Father Christmas. He's the greatest man in the whole wide world. And just like what we can do. Merry Christmas, Father Christmas. He's back on his hero back, and he loves us all, and he shows it. And he knows for a straight ride. If it snows, then we go on all night. But that cold ride, he's rolling, he's rolling. You lift your eyes and big surprise, and make your feelings different from a Christmas. That's how Christmas ought to be.
Is this the home of Robert Cratchit, Esquire? A Merry Christmas to you, sir, from Santa Claus himself.
Forgive me, sir, but I think you've got the wrong people.
Nonsense. Haven't been to the wrong people in 1,000 years. You can forget that scraggly little goose of yours, Mrs. Cratchit. You can use it as stuffing for this.
Oh, thank you, sir. How did you know about
Come on,
the goose?
children, it's your turn now. What have we got here? This is for you, my dear.
Thank you.
And this is for you, my dear.
Thank you, sir.
And this lovely dolly is for you, my dear.
It's a dolly in the corner.
And this is for you, young man.
Thank you, sir.
And this is for you, Bob Cratchit, you good lady.
Thank you, sir.
Well, as you can imagine, tonight is the most important night of my life, and I have so many places to go to. So little time. Ho, ho, ho. What am I thinking of? This is for you. Take this over there. What do you think of that?
You didn't steal it, did you?
A Merry Christmas, Tiny Tim. You still haven't recognised me, have you, Bob Cratchit?
Yes. No. I mean, your Father Christmas.
It's Mr. Scrooge! He's gone mad!
It's all right, my dear. There's nothing to be frightened of.
No, there's nothing to be frightened of, Mrs. Cratchit. And on Monday, when I double your salary...
Double? He has gone mad.
We're going to sit down and discuss what I can do to help you and your family. And the first thing we're going to do is to find the right doctors to make Tiny Tim well. And we will make him well again, you know. Oh.
Yes. I believe you. I believe anything.
And may this be the merriest Christmas of all our lives.
God bless us, everyone.
You can lift your eyes, take some pride, and take your seat in the moment you are. The moment is Tom Jenkins. About that, £6.
You agree to a few days more, Mr. Scrooge? I just even
keep it. It's my Christmas present to you.
God bless you this Christmas Day, Mr. Scrooge. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me.
It seems a bit bizarre, but things the way they are. It looks as though that goes for all of you who owe me money. From now on, you can keep it. From this day forth, all my debts are forgiven.
That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me.
It isn't every day good fortune comes their way.
I never thought the future would be fun for me.
Uncle Ebenezer? Is it you?
Yes, a Merry Christmas, dear boy. And dear charming bride. We were just on our way to your house with some gifts. A Pringle. This is from an old fool who desperately regrets all the Christmases past that we might have shared together. And this is for you, my dear. A sort of belated wedding gift.
Ebenezer. Thank you.
Oh, it's lovely.
Christmas lunch is sharp at 3. May we expect you?
Oh, yes, I'll be there. Christmas lunch. My word, you're a pretty woman. You remind me of somebody I used to know. Why don't you come with us? We're giving away gifts. Such a nice thing to do. I love Christmas. I love people. I love children. I love everybody.
Happiness is a new friend. One I truly recommend.
Happiness you will soon see.
Now I see that happiness is wherever loved ones is to be.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh. And little heeded them, for he was wise enough to know that nothing ever happened on this globe for good, at which some people did not have their fill of laughter in the outset. His own heart laughed, and that was quite good enough for him.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's about the thing that anyone thinks has done for me. I'm rich and I'm enough. I'm happy and I'm here to do the reward you want for me. I'm in my own and in my house. To ride a good ride and make me laugh. The trips I left to drag it out. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very
Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. I've got to go now. I'm spending Christmas with my family. I will start anew. I will make amends and I'll make quite certain that the story ends on a note of hope, on a strong amen. And I'll thank you all.
In that 1995 production of Scrooge the Musical by Leslie Bricusse, recorded at the Palace Theatre in Manchester, Anthony Newley was Scrooge, Stratford Johns the Ghost of Christmas Present, Barry Howard, Jacob Marley, David Howe, Bob Cratchit, Felicity Soper, the Ghost of Christmas Past, and Paul Robinson, Tom Jenkins. David Kelsey was the narrator. You also heard Garth Beardsley, Christina Thornton, Geoff Steer, Michael McLean, John Fleming, Dudley Owen, Dermot McLaughlin, Joy Graham, Julie Armstrong, Angie Smith, Martin Hibbert, Zoe Curlett, Catharine Duncan, Jennie Dale, Vivian Davies, Lisa Joanne Cook, and Gary Milner. The production was directed by Tudor Davis. The musical director was David Beer, and the producer was John Langridge.